Welcome, everyone, to the third episode of the First Crack podcast. I'm Christopher. This is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi, this is Katie. And we are joined today by the always magnificent and amazing Gavin Toth of Divine Barrel Brewing. Gavin, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
You look amazing as per usual. That beard is epic.
I combed it.
Combed
today.
it. It looks.
For us.
It's magical.
Yeah,
It's magical.
Thank you.
So, Gavin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Gavin, why are you here today?
Because you guys invited me and gave me free coffee.
Free coffee, yes.
Good,
That's the
good.
reason anybody
Quick
is friends
shout
with us.
out to our coffee. We are drinking. What are we drinking today?
We're drinking our newest coffee, Matheson Money. It's Ethiopian. It is actually our first completely organic fair trade coffee.
Well, there we go. And I can taste the organic fair tradeness in this coffee. I mean, it of all the cupping
Along with the
notes,
berries.
the organic fair tradeness is what stands out. He tasted over there. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
We've got some watermelon notes, some raspberry, possibly. What else?
Oh, I do get the watermelon.
Right? The watermelon?
That's
right out of
pretty
the gate?
cool.
The
Yeah.
power of suggestion.
Power of suggestion,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You didn't taste it until I told you were going to taste it.
It tastes like cowtails, the candy.
Ooh.
I'm just
I
kidding.
don't
It
even
doesn't.
know what those
Cowtails
taste
are
like.
caramel and white sugar in the
You're right.
middle. There's
Yeah,
no
I know.
watermelon at all in
I know,
cowtails.
I know.
You're talking to a candysaurus over here. A
Cowtails are so
candyologist.
good.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
They're not good for you, but they're
I
delicious.
don't think that they're good.
Cowtails?
I don't even remember
Oh,
what they
Cool.
You no
Interview
longer work here.
over.
Yeah, and so
This has
Gavin.
been fun.
So Gavin,
like
The
the
Villain
most
Coffee
bland
just became
candy
one.
ever.
do you want? We have an opening. Do you
Oh,
want to
cool.
join
Oh,
Villain Coffee?
Gummies are way better.
Watermelon gummies are way
Cowtails?
better.
After we leave here today, I'm going to get a cowtail. I'm going to eat it. And then
Rhino
eat my
Market has
feedback.
cowtails. West Rhino Market
I feel like
West.
That's the worst candy ever. That's like the bananas in Runts. Like, nobody wants that shit.
I would have to agree.
What?
Banana candy is one of the
Banana
worst
runts are
candies.
horrible.
Yeah.
But
Banana
So are
now and
cowtails.
later.
cowtails are good.
Cowtails are great.
Back to coffee.
Back to coffee and the whole reason that this guy's even here, right? We're really good at tangents, as we know. But so Gavin's here, folks. Gavin is what is your official title at Divine Barrel?
Well, you could say chief operating officer, I guess, but I like to say that I manage generally.
Okay.
So
okay.
I do a little bit of everything, whether it's manage the tap room, sell some beer out into the market, help with marketing in general, just a little bit of everything.
Okay. Nice. And currently it is you and two other folks. Is that correct?
Me and two other partners, and then a great tap room staff in there too, and a marketing or social media guy too.
Got it. James.
Old James.
Love James.
Threw beer on him the other day. That was
We saw
awesome.
that.
ya?
That was incredible.
That was a lot
I
of
feel
fun.
like he gets a lot of beer thrown at him just for like Instagram story purposes.
Yeah,
Like,
and they're always his
he takes
idea.
one for the
That's
team.
amazing.
Yeah.
Did he have to sign a waiver for that?
No.
Okay, 'cause I feel
no.
like he does some stunts. He's like,
Yeah,
He's a stunt man.
He's a stunt man.
We make him clock out. I mean, I don't know. OSHA, are you listening?
Yeah. He has to wear a helmet when
Yeah.
he comes in.
Right.
All right. So, and you guys have been in business now for just about a year? Not even a year?
Under a year,
Under a
9.5
year.
months.
Okay.
Yeah.
9.5 months.
Yeah.
Awesome.
At
So,
an actual location, but you guys were kicking it before that, doing beer, right?
We were brewing beer
Yeah.
in December of 2017,
Nice.
which we're getting ready to release that batch of beer, our first batch.
the original, the OG.
Yeah, it's a Russian Imperial Stout that's been in bourbon barrels for almost a year now.
Wow.
So
Fancy. I wish I knew enough about beer to appreciate what you just said.
yes, well, it's just a big stout that's been
Okay.
in bourbon barrels for almost a year, so it's going to be nice and smooth, and we're bottling that hopefully in the next couple weeks and release it in January.
Fantastic. Cool.
Is there a fingers crossed moment because you make it, you put it in these barrels, and then you're like, well, we'll see what happens, or you pretty much know when you go to tap it that it's going to be amazing.
Really, brewers just make wort, which is young beer. Yeast makes beer. And then barrel aging it, yes, it's a lot of finger crossing. It's a lot of, all right, well, we better taste it and see
Yeah.
what it tastes like. And if it tastes like crap, then we dump it. But if it's good, we either decide to serve it then or age it for a little bit longer and kind of see where it goes.
Just kind of like a trial
Yeah,
period.
a
before
lot
you
of trial and
commit
error.
to
Yeah, so
jamming
you can
things in
tap
barrels.
into it at any time during that year.
Yeah, so luckily stainless steel nails are a thing. So you hammer a stainless steel nail into the barrel, and it's called pulling nails when you go to try it. So you pull the nail out, you grab a glass, dip it under there, grab a sample.
Oh, nice.
Try
And
it from
close
each
it back
barrel
up.
and then close it back up. Sanitize it first
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
you put
for
it
sure.
back in. And,
Ish.
How do you close it back up? You just stick the nail back in?
Stick the nail back in.
Snap, and it
It's
doesn't pop back
airtight.
out.
It's
That's amazing.
it doesn't.
Is it a special?
Well, because
like,
they're wood, so
It just
kind
kinda-
of grab the
oh,
wood.
that's
Yeah.
true.
I'm thinking
Okay.
stainless steel, like a
stainless
wine
steel
barrel.
container, but it's
No, it's just a nail. And
Yeah.
That's cool.
it works. It's awesome.
Magic.
Fancy.
Yeah.
beer magic.
That is beer. That's magical right there. And also apparently wort and yeast. So they have as gross words as we have in coffee. We always joke that coffee has some silly terms like breaking the crust and
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a
mucilage and all these other horrible words that
Yeah.
we hate to use in general coffee conversation. But
Yeah,
wort and
there's-
yeast are pretty horrible too.
Yeah. Oh, and when you empty the hops out of a fermenter, it looks like we call it hop poop. I mean,
Even better. Hot poop. Nice.
Yeah, there's actually an Instagram page where people just
Post their hot poop?
Yeah. Yep.
It actually is it. So it's the byproduct. So it actually is poop. Is it like
Well,
the bacteria byproduct?
So
no?
hops come pelletized a lot of times, or they come in a full flower. But when they're pelletized, it's about 10 or so hop leaves just crunched into a tiny little
Ball.
pellet, and
Yeah.
that expands with liquid,
For sure.
and
Becomes
then
a turd. A
it
hop
just
turd.
drops to the bottom of the fermenter and becomes a hop turd.
Yeah.
Is there
So-
a use for those things? Can you like them in a
Instagram pictures.
Yeah,
Just use-
use them in
Instagram.
a garden or like use them to
Uh,
grow
You
things?
start a new hop plant.
no,
Wouldn't
it's
work?
not like a fertilizer like poop,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's just spent hops basically, and it looks like
I
green
want to
poop.
dig deeper on this whole poop thing. So no, I'm kidding. we have real questions.
Yeah. So I guess we could start with how did you end up in the beer business? What was your path, your journey?
My journey probably would start when my first restaurant gig when I was 15 years old, and it kind of grew from there. I didn't drink beer when I was 15, but I was around it. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Actually, my old boss, when I was like 16 or 17, would give me a grolsch every Sunday when we would close down the restaurant.
Nice.
So,
That's your old boss.
yeah,
First
yeah,
where you
she
are
was
today.
awesome. Yeah,
All the
so
credit.
great chef. But yeah, when I went to UNC Chapel Hill, started working at a
Tar
restaurant.
Heels.
Yeah, go Heels. I'm wearing actually Tar Heel socks
You're
right
wearing
now.
NC State red
I can
though.
see him from here.
I didn't buy this sweatshirt.
Oh, you didn't? It has your company name on it. I'm pretty sure you bought it.
No branding here.
That's right.
But
Divine
yeah.
Barrel.
Oh, product placement.
But yeah, so after I graduated from college, I went full time to Spanky's restaurant, and so I kind of took it under my, I made it my job to change this into a craft beer bar, and
Sweet.
started learning, home brewing, and so I have about 10 years of homebrew experience. Don't need to homebrew anymore since there's a brewery, that I work at now
And own.
and own. Yes.
Yeah.
But started just learning a lot about it and became more than just, hey, let's have a beer. It became, why does this taste like this? Kind of like the watermelon notes of the coffee. We would do that with beer,
Yeah.
take notes and go to festivals. And sometimes those notes would turn into scribble because you had too many beers. But it became a passion. It became an education for me. And I just kept reading about it. And I hated studying in school, but I study beer.
Right.
So, and I enjoy that. I also study music now too, not the actual act of playing it, but just people.
Not like
and-
composition, just
no,
music from
I like to
fan
learn about the
standpoint.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
so I started reading more and more about beer. Ben and I got to be friends through a mutual friend, actually Jamie Jolly over at Salud Bottle Shop in Cerveceria. And then Ben also met Scott around the same time.
Which timeline? How many years ago is that?
Yeah.
We're looking at
Stole my question.
probably 4 to 5 years ago.
Okay.
And that's really when I don't think I met Scott a couple of times, and then Ben invited me over for dinner, and he said, bring some beer and your thinking cap. I said,
Which cap did you bring? I need to know.
Right. Was it
I brought
like
my thinking cap.
A fedora?
No, it was
does it look
probably
like? A top hat. Abe Lincoln.
I don't even know if I wore a hat.
He's like, this guy showed up empty-handed.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
but
"Where's
I
your
walked in
hat?"
and I went,
One rule.
it's
Yeah.
on now.
You had one thing to bring. You brought beer. You just didn't bring a hat.
Yeah, so that's when we really started thinking about the brewery and started planning out a name and just writing our business plan and kind of finding a spot. Where do we want to be? Noda was either Noda or Plaza Midwood, and we settled on Noda when we found our location because we knew it was in an area that was going to be growing fairly
sure.
quickly, It has. I mean, with the addition of the light rail
Yeah.
moving out all the way to University and just being really a block or two, I guess, away from the heart of Noda is
Yeah.
awesome.
Right,
It's very
right.
walkable. And yeah, Divine Barrel became a thing about 4.5 years ago.
So roughly a 4-year path from thinking caps, drinking beer one night to we're
To
opening
actually
our doors
opening.
to actually doing it.
Yeah.
And in that time, so I've been in Charlotte since 03 or so, and I've seen the craft beer industry, flourish here, right? As we all
Yep.
have. And originally it was Old Mech and Noda, and now, there's 37 other ones, right?
Yep.
So I can imagine that during that time, during those 4.5 years, maybe a little bit of frustration in like, how the hell do we get this thing off the ground ASAP, right? Knowing that all these other breweries are popping up, and that should be us, right? Like we should be there.
It was definitely frustrating to see a couple of breweries open before we did. We were slated to open around the same time as one or another brewery in town, and we just got delayed. We were about 6 months later than we had anticipated, but I was kind of used to that because of opening 2 restaurants, so that kind of
It's par for the course.
yeah,
for it to
yeah,
not
par
go
for
according
the
to plan.
par for the course,
Yeah.
or as my wife says, par for the core. She never gets it right. I don't know.
She loves to get idioms wrong.
Parring
Yeah,
and coring. I feel like she's thinking about apples or something.
Maybe.
Par,
She also
apple,
says
core.
6 to 1, half dozen.
Pear.
I'm like,
Pear.
man.
Finish it.
No, she
Yeah.
doesn't finish it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
You're like,
That's what we're
those
going
are
with.
numbers.
Yep.
You're just
cool.
saying numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her inflection is always weird,
Yeah,
the
it's like in the
emphasis on the
middle.
wrong syllable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
I
in the
love
middle.
Austin
And I'm like,
Powers.
I don't think you know the saying.
Right. Just,
Anyway.
just
But you
go
still
with
get
it.
it.
Yeah.
for the most
yeah.
part.
You understand what she's saying. So that's great. So you guys are staff of 3. Well, 3 owners.
3 owners.
About, 5 or 6 folks behind the bar.
5 or 6 behind the bar, and then we have James.
marketing. Okay.
James, who does the social media and helps Ben out in the back, too.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm just going to jump all over the map here, question-wise. But
Sure.
you have 1 location today.
Yes.
What does the future hold for Divine Barrel?
Hopefully making a lot more beer
lot
in that
more
same
beer.
location.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would be great 5 years down the road if we could throw something else out there. I know we want to try and do a restaurant eventually because that's where my expertise
Sure.
really lies. We don't know. With the big factory buildings kind of opening up in our area, in between where you guys are and where we are, you never know. There could be a production facility. It could be that we just focus on our tap room for the rest. It is in our game plan to kind of just up production and continue to bring people into our tap room, but more and more can releases and bottle releases will help get out into the market and hopefully bring more people into the tap room. And as we grow from there, then hopefully a restaurant or something like
Okay.
that.
I'm just gonna ask about the restaurant. Would it be like a beer restaurant combo, or is it like
They only serve
separate
beer
thing?
at your restaurant.
There's gonna be a separate thing.
I think we would.
From-
It depends on where the market goes
Yeah.
with restaurants here in Charlotte.
For sure.
It's an ever changing idea in Charlotte as to what is cool in the restaurant scene here. You see a lot of
Fickle
restaurant
customers,
yes,
too.
exactly.
You're cool
Fickle
this week, you
customers.
suck next week.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, well, do you do tapas? Do you do pizza? Do you do burgers? What's
Tapa
cool?
pizza burgers.
Right. Yeah.
With
So we're
beer
just
on
going to do
top.
tiny pizza burgers, and you get one at a time.
Small plates. You have to share it.
Yes. Yes.
Think what else is cool? Put it in a taco and deep fry it.
But
on a
Ben
food
has
truck.
a lot of experience with beer pairings and beer dinners. We both have experience with that. So we have these ideas that float around in our heads for when we're finally ready. But it's just going to be what's cool, what's quick, and what
Yeah.
keeps people in the tap room for longer.
You have to outfit the facility with like a
Everything.
kitchen and all the
Yeah.
requirements for cooking.
Yeah, it
versus-
costs a lot of money to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kind of along the same line ish. So as far as beer and recipes and all that, how do you guys come up with your next new thing, like pairing different flavors and different ingredients to create a beer? And also, what's your most creative beer so far?
So our most creative beer you can kind of look at in different ways. We did, it's on tap right now, our red wine barrel-aged retrospective, which is a Brett C. Saison. Brett C. being a yeast that kind of gives grassy notes and kind of earthy tones and all that. So that is the yeast's fault and the barrel's fault that it's creative. It's not necessarily us.
Yours.
Yes. Creative on our side, where it's actually something that Ben controls would probably be the ice cream paint job, which was a
I love the names, by
That's
the
the
way.
best.
Those
thank
are
you.
so
It's also a
sweet.
great song.
It is. Yeah.
Um,
Is that Danity Kane? No.
No. Wow,
Who's the-
Danity Kane,
Right?
Yeah.
First of all, side note, I was obsessed with all those like making the band.
Yeah.
The puffy ones back in the day. Didn't B2K, wasn't B2K one of his things?
I don't know.
No, I'm just saying words to you that
Yeah,
don't make sense.
well, I know the
You
name,
know
but
Danity Kane.
yeah,
You know, gosh, who was right before Danity Kane? Why am I doing? Oh, Day 26 was the other big one. These are R&B like
wow,
early
yeah.
2000s.
Yeah, I know
rappy,
Danity
hip-hoppy
Kane
bands.
because I feel
Yeah.
like that was you
Yeah.
know a
Yeah.
side project of Beyonce, but it probably wasn't.
Also incorrect.
Yeah.
Earlier, he said he studied music, folks.
Yeah,
and,
like good music, though.
Now we're finding out that he's totally full of shit.
Yeah.
So-
Well, yeah. I
yeah,
can
continue.
sell ice to an Eskimo, man.
All right, so,
So
yeah, creative names, ice cream paint job.
Ice cream paint job was a lactose vanilla fruited Berliner Weiss. So it had over 500 pounds of fruit in it, and then lactose and vanilla. So it was kind of a strange idea, but it works. And other breweries do it too, which now I know because we're like, oh, who else does this? And it's,
Find out it's everybody.
yeah, find out it's everybody. But oh well, ours was good too.
That's right.
So yeah, that was a fun creative one, and I think just keeping things moving with a West Coast IPA because Ben likes to dial in the beers that he makes, and so we try different hop profiles with the West Coast IPAs, malt profiles, etc. So back to the recipe question, Ben comes up with all the recipes. The ideas for the beer come from all of us,
Yep.
and whether it's Ashley in the tap room or Drew or Frank. Somebody has an idea and said, "All right, let's do a fruited Berliner Weiss." Okay, and those turned out to be a big hit for us. So we've stuck with those and messed around with the recipe. West Coast IPA are our favorite style, probably across the board. So we keep those around and we mess with those recipes and find out what we really like. And down the road, we'll pick a flagship West Coast IPA.
So, Gavin, let's say that tomorrow Katie and I decide to start a brewery. We're going to call it Barrels of Divinity. What, outside of the copyright infringement-ish, what advice?
We're also going to steal your logo, too.
Yeah, it's going to be a sideways barrel
sideways.
made out of halos.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to us as an up-and-coming brewery in this market of what seems to be endless breweries that are all successful, by the way? What would you tell me?
Make sure you make good beer out of the gate.
Step one, make
Yeah.
good beer. Have a good product.
Yes.
Okay. Key thing is to have a good product.
The biggest thing is have a good product. Yes. You can build everything else around that, but we wanted to have good product out the gate. So Ben really focuses on research and does all of his homework before we even brew a batch of beer.
Okay.
So that would be my biggest piece.
Okay. And the research is just all self-taught. Like, we got nerdy about coffee, reading books and experimenting and doing all that, trying different coffee at different coffee shops. Similar
Yes.
upbringing, right, for people?
For Ben, Ben can't necessarily just sit and enjoy a beer. He analyzes
He has to
every
analyze
sip.
it. He's
Yep.
sciencey beer.
He is science of beer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So very much so. And I think as far as beyond that, it's the taproom ambiance. If you open up and you just don't have a good vibe or good service, then that really hurts too. There are definitely places that I've been to, not necessarily in Charlotte. I feel like as a whole, our breweries give great service and have good ambiance.
Agreed.
But there have been places where I've gotten terrible service, but the beer's good. I don't go back because it took me 20 minutes to get a beer. And
Right.
it was like, cool, that one beer I had was great, but why would I go back there again?
Because it
Right.
would take you another hour to
Yeah,
get another.
exactly.
Get another beer.
Your staff is awesome. Every
Thank you.
time we've been in there doing events with you guys, coming to get kombucha, beer, whatever, everybody's been super cool. So, I mean,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good job
makes it-
hiring
seriously.
people off
Makes
the
a big
street.
difference.
I mean, great
Yeah,
work.
we were lucky to have some friends that recommended some people, and it's a three-legged stool. Good product, good atmosphere, good service.
It's a tripod. We call those in the business.
Well, we sit on stools on top of
We
wood
sit on
blocks.
tripods.
Wait, what? No, we don't. We don't sit on tripods.
No, you're right. That'd be a horrible idea.
Yeah, don't call stools tripods. That's
Check.
kind of weird.
Check. No, yeah, you guys certainly have a great staff. And as far as ambiance, and maybe this is a good segue into the whole music thing and kind of your other side passion, but I feel like there's always great music playing. You do a lot with bands and having people come in and perform. Buddy of mine from the gym, oh God, Zach something or other, is part of Potbellies and Piglets, or what's the band called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Something
about.
Potbellies. I want to say he plays bass for them.
Oh, cool.
And he's also super strong.
Yeah.
Just throwing weights around at the gym.
Deadlifting people and
like deadlifting vehicles.
Yeah.
Vehicular strength is what he has. That's what I like to call it. But yeah, so always do a great job with music. I feel like that's certainly part of the atmosphere. And the games. How about the games they have over there?
I love the games. That's one of my favorite things because I crush him every time.
What's the one with the elastic band and the
Puck-It.
pucks?
That's my favorite.
Yeah. That really gets your heart rate going.
It does. It's
I leave,
little anxiety
I
causing.
leave Puck-It disappointed with myself
I've
as a
crushed
human
him
being.
every
You should buy one
single
and practice
time.
at home.
She doesn't know this, but I am.
Yeah, good,
I'm just
good.
in the closet. Just
Yeah,
will
Clask
never
is
beat
definitely
me.
my favorite that we have.
Class the spinner.
That's the one with the magnets, and you. That's
yeah.
Skittles with the spinner.
Skittles with the spinner.
And then Scott, the other partner, he has built a bunch of tabletop ring toss games. That was me doing a ring toss.
Okay. This ring
yeah.
toss, or where
Yeah.
you drop it and it gets on the hook.
Yeah, and gets on the
pendulum.
hook.
Oh, those
Yeah.
are fun.
But
Yeah.
it's tabletop, so we could have one playing right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you bring one with you?
No,
Why?
I didn't go to the tap room first. I came straight
What
here.
is I guess what made you guys do games? I feel like aren't common other than like cornhole, which is cornhole.
It was kind of funny. We were in Nashville for my bachelor party back in February, so just before we really ramped up, and we went to a brewery called
How cold is your coffee?
Southern Grist. My coffee is
Grits? Southern grits?
Grist.
Grist. Is
Like-
grist a real word, or is
It
grist
is.
just what does grist
Has to
mean?
do with the malted
Hop
barley.
poop?
There's grist cakes.
grist cakes.
In brewing, and yes.
What's
Kinda
what's
want one of
grosser, a grist cake or hop poop or hop turd?
Yeast.
Yeast.
It wins.
Yeast is probably the winner.
It's
it
all the
stinks.
grossest?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely stinks.
Mm.
And it looks all
Continue.
funny. But yeah, we were at Southern Grist and we found this game, Clask. And we ordered 2 while we were sitting in the brewery
Nice.
to be delivered to the brewery.
Like
and
Amazon Prime.
yeah, Amazon primed it.
How much do you
So
love Amazon Prime?
love it. That's where we order everything.
Do you watch a lot of Amazon programming, like the movies?
Jack Ryan with John
See,
Krasinski.
I don't want to because of The Office. So you feel like you owe it to him to watch it because as much as you love The Office.
Well, he was good in that movie,
Reacher? Jack
137 hours or whatever, the army movie that he was in. That was
Oh.
good. No, not Jack Reacher. What?
That's Tom Cruise.
yeah.
To me, Jack Ryan looks like. Anytime I see Jack Ryan, I think Jack Reacher.
I agree. I did too. I thought it was a Tom Cruise
Yeah.
spinoff, but
Yeah.
he does a good job. At one point, he does an Office move where he goes,
Does he bite his hand?
and I was like, dude, that's from The
Does
Office.
he break the
Shout out
third
to The
wall and
Office.
look at the camera every now and then?
It was a really bad
This?
time for him to do that because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure somebody just got like shot in the head or whatever. But
and then he bit his hand though.
yeah,
yeah.
and it was, ugh, you did that in The Office, man.
And he scotch taped someone's phone to
yes.
their.
Oh yeah. No, he put
or he glued it to their
yeah,
desk.
He put a
Gift wrap?
stapler
In
in
some
some
Jell-O?
Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Parkour.
Jeez. Yeah, I feel like Amazon has a lot of good programming right now.
it does. Yeah.
Like, it's
Man in the
starting
High
to catch up.
Castle.
I don't watch that. I watched what's the Julia Roberts one?
I don't know.
What was that noise?
I don't watch Amazon.
Let me try it
TV,
again. What was Julia
but
Roberts one?
Netflix.
Oh,
It was Subhuman.
I don't know.
Homecoming. Yeah,
You
that
told
was
me
good.
about
Yeah,
Homecoming.
it was
That's
good, right?
Homecoming was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
wanted it to end differently though. I wanted there to be a little more like closure.
Jack Ryan also ends like that. It ends well. There's closure, but it was like too quick
There's only one season of Jack Ryan.
so far. I'm sure they're doing another.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about what matters? Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Yeah, when's that coming out again?
I am now recently and
April?
officially
I think
caught
April.
up on Game of Thrones.
Ooh.
I know it
Yeah.
all. I know all the loose ends now.
Yeah, I still don't know anybody's
im-
name, but it's
It's
fine.
impossible. But I will say I'm watching the whole thing starting again. So I need to watch it a second time to be ready for the new season.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch it with the captions on, it is a game changer.
Is it? It all
Yes.
makes sense. With
It
the
all
captions?
makes sense. It's when you can actually read. I'm a visual person, and I need to I can read the names. I can figure out which family is who.
Yeah. What about the Red Wedding? Was that just like
I
blood
just saw
and
that
guts?
episode again.
The captions on the
splat.
Red Wedding. Yeah, it was like
Wedding.
Death.
parentheses.
There's probably people
Death.
that haven't watched it,
The Red
which
Wedding.
we shouldn't spoil it.
I mean,
We haven't. Sorry,
released-
guys.
Just watch
if you
it,
haven't watched
people.
it by now.
Yeah,
Get with it.
Yeah.
But seriously, watch it with the captions on. Game changer.
it's
Totally
a great
helps you.
show.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
It's one of those shows that I was similar like with Walking Dead, where I was like, zombies are stupid. I'm not into zombies
Yeah.
until you watch it, and then you're like, wow. There's some actual character development
Mm-hmm.
here. Until like season 6 or 7, when it's like,
Yeah.
let's get the show going.
I
right?
keep taking breaks
Yeah,
during
I stopped.
6
I
and
give up
7. I was
completely.
like,
But Game of
"Ugh."
Thrones, same thing. I'm like, dragons are corny, Dungeons and Dragons, like that's all.
But through season what?
Game
8?
of Thrones nerds.
Still badass.
and now it's still badass.
Yeah.
Oh, and now there's a White Walker dragon. What?
What's gonna
Spoiler
happen?
alert.
Ah!
Who am I looking at? Spoiler alert.
Anyone, we
You're
don't
looking
know.
at yourself.
Yeah, myself, exactly. I'm like, God, you're gorgeous. This is me looking at a camera of myself, or a panel of myself for the home audience, for the viewers.
I actually haven't looked at that camera one time.
In the beginning, you did. I hope.
Did I?
when
I
you
don't know. I've been
introed
looking
the
at
show,
this TV in front of me
because you're
the whole time.
mesmerized with yourself.
I know. This is what
Facts.
happens.
Yeah.
There is no TV there.
There's no TV.
Oh wait, what TV? I don't know what you're
It's all
talking
you.
about. So
We talked
I
about
think we asked
Amazon.
you a question, and then we
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
we
Talked
started
about
talking
TV
about
shows.
Amazon. So you got the game. You
Got the
ordered it
game,
on
yeah,
Amazon.
and then it kind of just spun off from there. The game Skittles with the top, that's
Yeah.
a game that Ben had when he was a kid, and so he found that and ordered
Nice.
it. It's just kind of grown from there. We don't know what game's going to be next. I think now we have a life-size Jenga, which every Jenga's life-size.
So basic.
Yeah, it's
No,
so
that's
basic.
Who
actually
doesn't
really
have
cool.
life-size Jenga?
I don't have that.
Well,
We don't have
who
that here.
had-
No?
Scott built it.
Oh,
I mean,
did
he
he
just
really?
cut,
Even
well, he
cooler.
cut a
Oh.
bunch of wood and made
Okay.
it. But
We have wood that we can make a life-size
Ooh,
Jenga.
we
We're
do.
actually
We should just make
using
Jenga.
it right
We
now.
have other things. we could
yeah,
probably
forget
work
about
on.
coffee.
Yeah, let's just
just
do
make Jenga.
Making
Yeah, let's
games.
do
Yeah.
Jenga all
Yeah.
the
Do you
time.
have Uno?
No,
I love that game.
that's
Okay.
There's
That's
new
not-
Uno. There's new cards.
Big cards.
No.
I
There's
don't
like
those ones.
new cards added to the deck.
I don't
It's
like
like
it.
take 6.
I like old school
Take 8.
Uno. I
There's
won't
all
take
kinds
8.
of crazy stuff. You're gonna want to.
I will not. I refuse.
Um,
I have a question for you.
You should ask. It's a podcast. It's an interview, so knock yourself out.
Well, I was in there the other day, and Ben and I were chatting a little bit, and this question came up, and I think you kind of caught the tail end of it. But I wanted to ask you this question: so obviously a brewery, beer. People come in there. People come to meet there. You're drinking a mind-altering beverage.
Substance.
Yeah.
Just like coffee.
How do you feel
Different alterations.
about, in some way, being responsible for altering people's
DUIs.
No,
Oh,
not that.
Sorry. Different topic.
for altering people's brain chemistry and the correlating events that happen like as a result of that.
I really think beer is a great part of being social, and breweries have now become a meeting place for a community rather than just, hey, let's go slam a beer and go out. It's, hey, let's have 1, 2, or 3 beers that might be anywhere from 3.5% to 8% at Vine Barrel, and conversations start, ideas begin, and beer helps with that. Because it's a commonplace for people now. Kids are growing up in breweries, essentially.
Legitimately
Very true, which
grown
is
up.
a
Yeah.
very interesting thing. If you look back 10, 15 years ago, kids in bars, that was like not
a thing.
acceptable.
Bueno.
Yeah.
There's a great book called The Tender Bar, and it is about a kid growing up in a bar up in New England. And I can't remember the author's name, but he also helped Andre Agassi write his book, Open. Also a great book if you like tennis.
I've not read it.
But anyway, you see families come in, hang out. We have regulars that their families, they bring their kids to hang out and play our games. And that was kind of the idea. We wanted to have a family-friendly brewery because if you don't in this current market, then it's not very fun.
Right.
You don't
right.
go there to hang out. It just becomes a bar.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to be welcoming. And so changing people's mind-altering beverage, as you called it earlier, it's a social lubricant, as everybody always says, but it's also just an idea. Beer is an idea. Beer is art, and it's a thing that people can sit and talk about, just like coffee.
No doubt. Great answer.
Thanks.
So eloquently spoken.
I hope I
You're
didn't say
very
too many
loquacious.
times.
You didn't. I try to keep track of ums.
Yeah, no, kind of along the same line though. Coffee is the same, almost the opposite, possibly, because it jacks you up, whereas beer is it?
Beer jacks some people up.
Yeah, there's
Beer
endorphins
does.
in beer.
Yeah.
You can get jacked up off of beer for sure,
Yeah.
and not necessarily in the I'm gonna get drunk and punch a wall. You
Which
kind
is
of
lit up. And
Yeah.
Have you ever got
or,
drunk and punched a wall,
I'm
Gavin?
sure you have.
who hasn't?
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
I
You
have
said
not punched a wall.
you just gotten drunk and
Yeah.
considered punching.
Stops there.
You just punch people.
not
You said 8%. Is
punch
there
a wall now.
what's like the highest alcohol content you can get in a beer nowadays?
Legally in North Carolina, 15%.
That's a law.
I didn't
Yes,
know that
that's a
there was
law.
laws around that.
Yes, there are Dogfish Head brews some 18%ers, Worldwide Stout and Dogfish 120-minute IPA.
Liquor at that point.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
It's
One
definitely
and done. Comes in
Yeah.
just a little shot glass.
No, it comes in a 12-ounce bottle, surprisingly,
Oh,
and
jeez.
if you don't look at the percentage before, you're like,
It's game
"Whoa,
over. Yeah.
that's the one beer
Slap
I'm
me
having
in the
tonight."
face.
Yeah,
Yeah. I gotcha.
yeah. So,
That's funny.
15% in North Carolina though, and that only got raised back in, I believe, 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's like other states? Is there limits, or are there other states that don't have limits
No limit.
that you
Are there
could
no
like
limit
make
soldiers?
beer and ship it out?
At
Or-
some point, it's not beer anymore.
Right.
It's
Just
like-
straight up, like,
right,
rubbing
It's
alcohol.
a
At that point,
malt
you're a
liquor.
distillery.
Well,
not
it becomes like a
brewery.
malt liquor.
Okay.
So there are limitations. Some states, I think Alabama is still a really low percentage. It's a lot of southern states that have
Yeah.
lower percentage, Bible Belt and all.
When it
But-
becomes malt liquor, do you have to then serve it like in a 32-ounce thing in a brown paper bag?
Yes.
And
Yes.
make it amber
It's-
colored?
Yes, and put a picture of some sort of snake on it
Snake
Yeah.
and a number.
and a number. yeah.
Divine 45.
Divine 45. Yeah.
Yeah.
Colt 45 and 2 zigzags, right?
You got that Divine 45?
Yeah.
You putting this in growlers? Crowlers? The crowler's
Crowlers.
this tall.
Yeah.
It's just like a
They're-
totem pole.
Yeah.
32 ounce.
The 32-ounce crowlers, we do have those
You should.
available to go of all of our
They're like
beverages.
baseball bats. Gavin, what else can you tell us? What else is exciting? What are you most excited about for 2019 for Divine Barrel?
2019,
Yeah.
we'll see our 1-year anniversary in March 9th.
Are you having a party?
We're going to
Nueve
have
de
a
marzo.
good party.
Are we
Are you
invited?
invited?
Of course you guys are invited. You've got to serve coffee all day.
All
We
right,
better.
for all
Yeah.
day.
For those
All
that
day.
don't know, we didn't just randomly pick Gavin because we found him on the street. We actually have a business partnership with Gavin regarding our coffee. Our nitro cold brew is partly processed and stored and nitrogenated, if you will, at your
And served.
and
And
served
served,
at
yes.
their facility. So
Yes.
we are business partners and friends.
Yay. Hearts.
Heart hands.
No, you got to connect
Can I
the...
get in?
Oh, that's how you
Yeah,
do it?
yeah,
That's a
you-
three-way
Oh,
heart.
is
Like
there a
that.
three-way?
That's a three-way
That's-
heart.
This is...
This is it.
That just got weird. Real weird.
No, but we-
menage a heart.
We're gonna edit that out.
No, we're not.
for
We're
sure.
keeping that
No,
shit.
keeping it.
Keeping it.
Hashtag keeping it.
But
Hashtag weird.
kind of along that line, partnerships in Charlotte, small business wise, super cool. What's going on with you guys at Divine Barrel partnering and?
Yeah,
Well,
where's
I'm
the
gonna-
next collaboration.
I'm going to rewind and talk about our party real quick.
Oh, yeah, party.
Because we're going to have some badass music. Akita Funk is opening up. Then
Danity
we've got
Kane? Are they coming?
Danity Kane will not be there, but
resurrected from the dead. They're not dead.
they're not
musically
dead. The music is dead.
They're
Limp
show business
Bizkit,
dead.
no.
Marcy Playground.
Yes,
Are they
Marcy
coming?
Playground. Yeah, full circle right there.
Yeah.
Kid
yeah.
Rock, please tell me Kid Rock.
My name is Kid Rock. No, and
Eminem.
then Akita Funk's kicking it off, and then we've got Hypnostic, which is kind of a hip hop rock group,
Ooh.
and then finishing off is a Greenville, South Carolina-based band called the Grateful Brothers, and they play Grateful Dead and Allman Brothers covers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You love the Allman Brothers.
So that's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a great opportunity to have a good party and a lot of beer releases and all that. But
Nice.
then collaborations, partnerships. We're hosting another Creative Mornings at Divine Brill. When is this podcast coming out?
Probably by this. What's
However
today?
fast
Saturday?
Chris works on the
Yeah,
editing.
Monday, Tuesday.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're having we're hosting Creative Mornings. That's a great partnership
Well, we have
that we
6
found.
viewers, so don't feel like anyone's going to
Okay,
find out.
yeah.
Don't put anything too juicy in here because no one's going to hear it.
Ooh.
Nobody's listening to this
Yeah,
podcast,
it's
by the
gonna
way.
be you,
it's just
your
us.
family, and us.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, well, that'll be 8 viewers then.
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect.
So,
Slowly getting viewers.
but yeah, Creative Mornings is a great partnership we've found, and we're hosting that again on Friday, January 4th. Collaborations, we've got a braggot coming out that we did with Good Road. A braggot is kind of a honey beer, for lack of better terms. It's
Brag it.
Yeah, don't brag about it. That was a braggot.
I don't know what to do with that.
It's a 10% honey beer. It had 413 pounds of honey in it.
Wow.
What?
Where do you source your honey?
Where does all that honey go?
Good Road sourced all of it, so
Can
I'm
we
not.
pause for 1 second and give a shout out to the bees that made that honey?
Oh, here we
They
go.
worked really hard on that.
And then
Good
we
job.
Yeah,
just
but you
stole it.
you can't.
We
it's
just
okay.
stole it.
You won't drink it though because it's not vegan.
Shout out to the bees for all the hard work.
There's different
Go on.
levels of veganism.
Yeah, I know you're on the honey level.
I'm on the honey level.
Are you on the honey level?
I waver.
Oh,
The bees were treated ethically.
The bees are drunk right now from the braggot.
Yeah, from the braggot.
I thought a braggot was like
But
a
it is
skill
a lot of
pop
hard
when you were
work,
like, we're
so-
hosting our braggot. I was like, oh, cool. Katie, what the fuck's a braggot? Like, I thought it was going to be like a thing, like an event. I didn't know
No.
braggot was. There's a lot of beer
There's a
stuff
lot of
I don't
beer
know.
terms. We
There's a
need to
lot
learn.
of beer
There's
terms.
There's a lot to learn. We've also got a collaboration with Town Brewing that just opened up
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
west
yeah.
side.
Sweet.
We used a new, well, not new yeast, but a Norwegian yeast called Kvik, I believe, and it's a high temperature fermenting yeast, so ale yeast, and it ferments at about 95 degrees, which is most ale yeasts ferment between 65 and 75, and then lager yeasts are about 50 to 60.
Act like you know something. You do.
He does.
I
He
just
knows
froze
a
up. I froze up.
Can you make bread with said yeast?
Well, let's see. What's White Labs? They're a yeast company. They just opened up a tap room in Asheville.
Okay.
Well, it's been about a year, but they make their pizza with their house
Beer yeast?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And they actually toss their French fries in lactobacillus.
Whoa.
Lactobacillus
About
can be
that
found
gut
in
health.
yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez,
So, pretty
probiotics.
Lactobacillus stains clothing. I'm
I
gonna put that
don't
out
think
there.
it
Let me
does.
tell you what happened once to me. This happened like 10 years ago. I was eating yogurt, and somebody walked in the room, and as I was taking a bite, a spoonful, I looked at them, and a glob of yogurt fell on my shirt. Navy blue polo from Old Navy.
Ooh, and it stained it white.
Well, here's what happened. I didn't
Because it was
wash
from
it
Old
right
Navy.
away, and I was like, I'll just clean this later. And
Ooh.
a couple days go by, whatever, and I clean it, and then sure enough, there's a white spot. So I have deduced by the scientific method
That
that lactobacillus
stains.
consumes
Color?
pigment, consumes dye
Ooh.
in fabric, and turns things back to their original color,
I think
which is
this is-
white.
This is just speculation. You don't know that for a fact.
This is conjecture.
It's scientifically
This
tested.
is science.
So
I did one experiment with one result and came up with a conclusion, which is that lactobacillus stains clothing.
I thought it was one conclusion.
I'm not
That's
sure
five.
why I was giving.
Actually,
So
I think Harvard scientists just determined that you can jump out of a plane without a
What?
parachute and land uninjured.
Did they?
Yes, they did a whole experiment. They did 6 different planes, and multiple people jumped out, but the plane was actually on the ground.
Ooh.
So they were
Control.
jumping.
The control factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and NPR just released the article, and of course they did it for fun.
I feel like that's a chive article.
But
The chive.
or the
Oh.
onion.
Or the onion.
Yeah.
Maybe the onion.
Yeah.
I get
Chive.
those
Maybe
two
the
confused.
rutabaga,
It's
I don't
like
know.
two different
The radish.
vegetables.
This guy knows what the chive is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
I think we're
talk about
close
it
to
later.
12 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Still recording.
Cut it off.
Stop.
Stop talking about the chive.
Should we restart? What do we
But
do?
I did cut you off talking about your honey. Go on.
Oh yeah.
And the
So
source.
yeah, I don't know who sourced it.
Talk about your
Okay.
honey.
I mean-
talk about your honey.
But there was 8 different kinds, and I didn't realize that honey could be as black as this bottle or as golden as something that's gold.
As
It's
honey.
all about the
yeah.
flowers and all the
Mhm.
pollination and where they get their. I
Yeah.
don't know a lot about honey, but I know that there's like a biological thing that happens when they
that creates the color.
that
Yep.
creates the color and what kind of plants that they take it from.
Yep.
So
I don't know anything about honey apparently.
yeah.
All right. So Mr. Toth.
Are
Toth,
we
you
saying
got it
that
right.
correctly?
It's
I,
Toth,
hope-
yeah.
I was hoping in the
He
beginning.
told me once
Yeah,
because I used to always say Toth,
I would assume it's Toth.
and it's Toth.
But
It's,
it's
like
Yeah.
toes with a lisp.
It's Toth with list. Yeah, Toth.
Toth.
That's why I always send you
I'm always
Mike
gonna-
Tyson
when I see you
pictures
from now on,
when
I'm
I
going to think
send
about
you.
toes.
Yeah, Toth.
Just say it like Mike Tyson would say it.
Toth.
Toth. Right? As I send in Mike Tyson pics all the time. Do
you really?
Yeah, we have a string of
Yeah.
stupid pictures we send each other.
Now, every time I look at your face, I'm going to think Mike Tyson and toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Gavin
continue.
Toth. Very nice to meet you. So obviously we talked before about just, in general, just kind of running your business operations, your teammates and all that. I was going to ask you jokingly if you sometimes question whether you chose the right business partners, because I question it all the time. But how well do you guys? It sounds like Ben is like the chef. Ben's doing a lot of the cooking.
Yep, Ben's the chef. I'm the front of the house
Scott
guy.
does the numbers,
and Scott does
right?
the numbers. Yep.
Okay. Do you feel like that's a well-oiled machine? I'm not asking for like dirty laundry. I'm just saying.
No,
Like,
yeah.
are you guys? Is it like a functional? Not functional. Is it an effective?
Yes.
Combination of skill sets and balance.
I think the coolest thing about our partnership is that we all come from 3 different backgrounds, and we all, aren't necessarily experts in our fields, but we do a pretty good job. And so it kind of molds well together so that we don't have to worry about each other necessarily.
There you go.
Ben makes good beer. Scott runs good numbers. I make sure the front of the house stays afloat. So we just kind of keep going, and we report to each other, of course, as partners. And doesn't matter what level of ownership we have, we make the decisions together.
Yeah. So. Okay. Awesome. That's something we try to stick to as well. I mean, we both bring different things to the table, but then for most, I'd say almost all of our decisions, we like coffee doesn't go out the door unless we both love it,
Right.
or like we don't go in a certain direction with like an advertising or even like a social media post. Like we try to really get buy-in from both of us before we make any major decision, which I think is easy to do when you have 2 people. When you have
3,
when you have 3 or 10 or 20, you know, then things probably start to get hairy. But
it does get a little convoluted, but you know, we usually try to dial it in fairly quickly, especially because I'm used to working with a lot of decision makers, like in restaurant groups and stuff.
Right,
so it's
for sure.
Hey guys, let's stay focused.
Yeah,
and
just do this
and just figure this out first.
Yeah,
so it works.
So I guess from your role, which is manages generally,
Yes,
right, and keeping the front end afloat. I guess how do you balance, everything between just because I imagine at the brewery most nights, right? You guys are more of a night business than a day business, but I know you're there during the day because I drop kegs off at 9 a.m.
Right,
and you're there. So
it varies. We're really lucky to have a great staff, like you guys mentioned earlier, and thank you. I have a few people that are my hourly managers that really just they step up and they provide great service at night. So that I don't always have to be there. I like to be there if we have an event going on, but it is part of my job to also sell cans or kegs out into the market, to meet with people, whether it's here doing this podcast or having another meeting off-site where it's say, hey, how do we build this partnership and make it something worthwhile for everybody? We have the ability to leave as needed. And I try to treat my staff the same way. If they really need a day off, well, of course, I'm there to work for them if need be. And right now on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I bartend in the mornings. So
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
like Tom Cruise, like cocktail? Are you flipping bottles behind your back and throwing ice across the bar to Andrew?
They don't have ice.
Man, we don't have ice. We don't have ice.
We know that. Yeah,
We don't have ice.
we asked once.
Nothing is served on ice.
Sometimes people get mad when we don't have ice.
Yeah, for their beer, for their ice
What
beer.
do they want it for?
Beer.
Weird.
That's weird.
Kick them out.
Weirdos.
Done. Get out of here.
Maybe I should just go to like
Your
Crown
money's
Station
no
or
good
DJ
here.
and grab them ice next
grab a
time.
bucket of
That would be
ice.
better service, wouldn't it?
You
Shout
can
out
charge
to DJ. I forget her name.
Lisa.
Lisa's my favorite. Every time I go in there, she's like knows my order or she
Yeah.
makes something up for me. She's
You're
lovely.
the crazy
She
vegan
decides
lady.
what you want to eat.
She does. She's like, you're gonna want this awesome vegan
Here's
dish.
what
Here, I'm
you
gonna make
want
it for
today.
you. Yeah.
You can serve ice for a 50-cent surcharge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to
It's
go
my
get it
delivery
somewhere
fee.
else. Delivery
Yeah.
fee for the
Yeah,
ice.
delivery
Yeah.
fee.
But you only can serve DJ Thai ice.
Yeah. The Thai ice is better ice.
Definitely tastes.
This is our Berliner Vanilla Hefeweizen
Thai ice.
with Thai ice and a splash of vanilla
How is
coffee.
this ice
cold
different than
brew.
any other ice?
I don't know.
it's shaped
There
like
is some
barrels.
good ice.
There's
Ice-
great ice.
I don't like ice.
Let me tell you who has
Not
the
a
best ice,
fan
hands
ice.
down.
Ice isn't
Sonic?
vegan, so.
Ice is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
vegan.
done. You answered it for me.
Sonic and ice is vegan,
I don't eat at
I think.
Sonic, but Sonic has the greatest ice.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Yeah. The little balls of ice.
Well, they're not quite balls. If you look close, they're cylinders with rounded edges.
Oh.
That's a shape in science. I just don't know what it's called.
Circle.
Yeah.
Like a
called a circle.
tubuloid or something. No, they're not really circles. They're
I
not
don't know.
marbles.
Okay.
But you know what the worst ice is? Hands down. What's the worst ice? I bet you know the answer too.
The kind with the holes in the center of it.
Yup. why that is the way.
Yeah.
It's like
Why
then you
is
get
it a
straw
thing?
stuck
it's
in one.
super
or-
clear, and then it's so and they're not even like flush.
I just
on either
burped
end,
on the
too.
mic.
Gross. I'll edit that out.
I hope we get that.
They're like concave.
They're terrible.
and there's a
what's-
hole in the middle.
I feel like the process of making that type of ice has got to be difficult.
yeah,
like, what
it's
kind
like
of
a
container
rod,
do you
and then you have to like
you freeze it? I don't know.
yeah. It seems like a
Anyways,
mess.
I want to ask you a more important question.
About ice.
Not about ice. Not really.
Nothing's more important.
So, we've Chris and I have talked about this a lot in the past. The Charlotte coffee community is pretty awesome. How is the Charlotte brewery community? Also, by the way, brewery is like the hardest word to say.
I always feel
so
like
I
I have
kind
a
of wanted
speech
to
impediment
avoid
when I
saying
say
that
it.
today, but I
And
just
yeah,
said it. So
I'm the same.
I feel like I have to really stop and enunciate brewery.
That's why I never say the
I don't-
second B. I'm always like,
Yeah.
how are things at Divine Barrel?
Divine, but that's okay.
I never
But,
say
yeah.
brewing.
Well, one of the first times my wife and I went to Blue Blaze Brewery,
Yeah.
That's a lot
she
of
said
Bs.
Blue Blaze Brewery, and so we've just
Ooh.
kind of stuck to that. So I even say when I'm going to Divine Barrel, I say I'm going to the brewery.
The brewery.
Yeah,
It's
but-
almost easier to say. Yeah,
It's
brewery
easier.
is a hard word to
Well,
say.
your name is not brewery; it's brewing, which
Yeah,
is a
Divine Barrel
smart
Brewing.
choice. Is that
Yeah.
It's a
because you
little
can't
easier.
say that word?
Yeah, it is
Was it
definitely.
the only reason?
People also can't spell divine.
Oh,
or
really?
barrel.
Guess what
Welcome
people
to
can't
Villain
spell?
Coffee
Villain.
Company.
Villain. Yeah.
Do you know how many
it's-
checks I deposit for Villian
Villian.
Coffee Company?
Yeah, that makes
Divine,
sense.
Yeah. Wonder why people can't spell villain.
I don't know.
It's
It's
not
not
that
a
hard.
common word that you have to spell out a lot, though.
And that's the
Before
reason?
starting Villain Coffee Company, I don't think I've ever written the word villain.
Never once.
No,
Yeah, people just say bad guy.
the bad guy.
The bad guy.
Yeah, I'm
Bad
going
guy
over to
coffee.
Bad Guy Coffee.
We should have gone with bad guy
Bad
coffee.
guy coffee.
That
Would've
could be
been
the
much
name of
easier.
one of your batches.
One of our batches. Bad guy batch.
Yeah, no, but yeah. So how is the
Charlotte
brewery
Charlotte
community-
Brewery
community?
community is awesome.
Yeah,
We're
sweet.
all friends.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to help each other out and be successful and help bring more and more people to Charlotte for the breweries.
What's wrong with you?
I said brewery, not brewery.
I just got really cold and like shivered.
You caught a cold, or you got cold?
I got cold.
And then I said brewery.
Go on.
Okay.
Okay.
Just like Asheville has grown with all the breweries that they have. I did that on purpose. We want to see Charlotte do the same.
Yeah.
And so the idea is the more breweries that open, the happier everybody's going to be.
Do you feel like Charlotte is on the map as being like a beer city? Like Asheville is like a food and beer and
I think we're getting
Asheville's
there.
not a coffee city, but I'd say Asheville for sure is a
Getting
beer
there.
city. Is for sure a beer city, right?
Yes, Asheville is for sure a beer city. I think you kind of lump the triangle together, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, as a beer city, even though it's three different cities.
With quite a bit of a highway in between.
Yes.
It's one big ass city.
Yes. And then
With
I
no
think,
beer in the middle.
Right, yeah, it's just a dead man's land. Except for Cary. Cary's got Bond Brothers. That's really good. But yeah, Charlotte is getting there. I think the more breweries that open and stay successful, the better,
Yeah.
for
We were having this talk the other day, as soon as she's done laughing, is
It's like,
that
when you laugh in the middle of
and then you're
class and then you
stuck.
can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
Do you think about laughing?
we can't think of any breweries that are unsuccessful.
Yeah, pretty much
It
everyone that's
almost
open has
seems
been
like
a win.
it's
two just closed in the Charlotte area.
did
Oh,
they?
shit.
Uh-oh.
Who?
Look it up.
We'll
I'm gonna
Google
Google
it
that
after
shit
the
right
fact.
away.
We'll put a link in the
Oh, that's
comments.
sad.
Yeah. Well, but prior to that tidbit of knowledge, I would have said that a brewery is a fail-safe business model. But maybe not.
No, not
Okay.
necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said open up with good beer.
Yeah.
It's easier to build business when you do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Open
Good
up with
vibes.
good coffee.
Yeah.
And I mean, restaurants get destroyed in 2 weeks because they
Yeah.
might not be ready, and so
Right.
it takes a long time to recover. And people are mean on Yelp and
Yeah.
whatnot, and
Yeah.
and so that influences our business heavily. And we have in the beer industry called an app called Untapped,
I've seen it. Yeah.
and people will just say 0.5 stars. I don't even like that style of beer, but that 0.5 out of 5 hurts
Right,
Ruins
yeah.
that
the
beer, and it
average.
hurts our it hurts our average.
Yeah.
So don't rate it,
Right.
and that's when people write reviews, be well thought out, or just give us 5 stars.
Right.
I mean, you know, if
Yeah.
you're not
We'll
going to write
say 5
anything,
stars.
give 5
It
stars.
goes back to like the whole, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say
Right.
anything at all, because people don't realize how harmful.
Yeah, be constructive.
Well,
Yeah.
Right. Versus subjective. Like, I didn't like that stupid Skittles game.
Yeah.
And now it's like 0.5
0.5
stars.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden people think it's because the bathrooms are dirty.
Right.
Or something
Which,
weird.
by the way, one of my
Don't
favorite
steal my
things
thoughts.
about Divine Barrel, besides the amazing staff,
Is the
and-
thing on
and
the
everything.
door that you can
the
pull with
bathroom,
your
just
foot?
the bathrooms in general, but also the door.
Their
rolling
bathrooms
thing.
at Divine Barrel have
Amazing. You should just go there and
it's
hang
like
out.
a pedal
I
or
love it.
something. I'm sure there's a
It's a
bathroom
foot
word
hook
for
to
it.
open the.
Ooh, a foot hook. Tell me you knew that before you just
made it up.
created foot hook.
There's
a foot hook on the door, which means
foot
you
handle, a
can
foot pole.
hands-free open the door, because we
Which
all
is
know good and
super
well
important.
that only a small percentage of people actually wash their hands
It's actually
when they
just
come out of a
probably
bathroom.
You and I
Us
are
three.
I wash my hands.
I
So
hope
the
so.
three of
All
us.
employees must. That sign should say all humans must wash
Yes.
hands. Don't just narrow it down to employees.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with the foot hook, my foot does all the dirty work,
Yeah, that's
and my
true.
hands
your
stay clean.
bathrooms
Your bathrooms are
are
awesome.
amazing.
Nice work
Yeah.
on the
Thank you.
bathrooms.
Thank you.
I
I
like
think
it.
that was the first thing I told you. Besides, you know,
Hello.
Your beer's
how
good.
amazing your beer and your
Besides,
brewery
can we put our
are. I
kegs
was like, your bathrooms are
in your
dope.
refrigerator? I feel like we asked you a lot of nonsensical questions and somewhat sensical.
It was a smorgasbord.
Or
again.
smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let me ask you the one that matters.
Do I like your coffee?
Do you like our coffee? What do you think we're going to be successful as a coffee company?
I hope
in,
so.
In your opinion, makes 2 of us. No, so we know where people can find you? They can find you at the brewery. What's the brewery address if I am new to Charlotte and don't know where to find you and somehow stumbled upon this podcast? Very unlikely, incredibly
you ever
unlikely.
did when you moved to Charlotte. It was found this podcast.
3701 North Davidson Street, Suite 203. So we're in the back of the building, not the front that's still empty. Thanks, landlords.
Good job, landlords. Okay, nice. And on the World Wide Web and social media channels at
DivineBarrel.com.
Okay.
Divine Barrel CLT on Twitter and Instagram, and Divine Barrel Brewing on Facebook.
Can I buy beer online through your website? Is that a thing?
That is illegal in
Yeah, I
North
don't think you
Carolina.
can buy
Is
any
it
alcohol
legal in
online.
other states?
It is.
Well, incorrect.
Well, North Carolina is pretty strict about their rules.
We
I think
are.
everybody
You
knew they
cannot
can't.
ship
you can't
beer in
because
or
you could
out
be a
of North
kid
Carolina.
That's what it is.
buying
Yeah.
beer and
Interesting.
alcohol.
It's a
And,
3-tier rule, I
things.
believe it's called. I don't know.
okay, but you're
Government.
stores.
Our cans
Your
are
cans
currently
are in
in
Yeah,
stores.
where are we?
17
store-wide?
different places.
That's amazing.
Can
pretty
you see if they want our coffee too?
I'll ask them.
Yeah, put
Let
it
me
in a
know.
good word.
I mean, if we're gonna go, tell them you know us.
Salute, Brawley's, Good Bottle, Vortex.
Vortex.
That's actually how they say their name.
Where is Vortex? I just like
It's
saying
in
Harrisburg.
the vortex. You don't know.
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg. We're in the Summit in Mount Holly. Pop the Top over on South End.
That's a lot of geography.
Yeah,
Are you
I
guys
mean-
in pour, the thing where you can go pour your own beer?
No.
I don't know. So, dumb question. Or can you not be in pour? Or how does that
We
work? Is
can.
it only Budweiser?
I don't
or
want to
Heineken?
answer on record.
Check.
On tape.
Okay.
So
On
are you
tape.
out of state yet? Have you sent your beer to different homelands?
We cannot do that.
Okay.
Also
Yes,
crossing
you'd
the
have to.
lines.
It,
NC statute 207.3.
that's actually
Alpha.
exactly it. Yeah,
I
207.
Googled it
You
before you
looked it
came.
Yeah. No, if once you go across, well, in South Carolina, you have to have a distributor. North
okay.
Carolina, you don't.
Gotcha.
So many rules.
There's a lot of rules. I'm glad coffee doesn't have this many rules.
What if
We
it
would be
does? We just
fucked.
don't know them.
Well, it's okay. Nobody's
Awesome.
listening to this anyways. So it
Well,
doesn't
Gavin,
matter. You're
I
good.
just elbowed you in the shoulder.
Closing
Great-
statement.
Closing statement.
ceremonies.
Great having you here today.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Again, I've been mesmerized this whole time with your beard, just looking at it. What are your plans?
Mike.
Look at that thing creating static. What are your plans for the beard long term?
Long term, got a goal to where it actually connects to my chest hair.
Okay,
on my
almost there.
sweater.
Almost there.
Yes, and then
kinda
once it
weave it
gets,
in.
weave it in. But once it gets to about going
Yay.
for another inch or two,
Okay.
I'll probably shave it.
Like,
Are you gonna
gone,
donate it?
trim it, or like clean? Like,
No, never clean
never
again.
clean?
I don't think we'll ever see
Never again.
clean now.
Can you donate your beard?
I'm
people
actually
that
going to
can't
make
grow
a
beards. There it is.
We just started a new business.
That's a new thing.
We're doing
Yeah,
it.
Done.
yeah.
You want to
Done
be our
today.
first customer?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll donate to that. But I was
you
actually going to
donate
make
to
a
this
pillow.
that doesn't really grow that
yeah,
well?
you could let it grow.
Yeah.
Man. It's fine.
I mean, I
Just
could let
oil
it,
it
grow,
and-
but
yeah.
it would be like whiskers
Oh,
in all directions.
yeah. Yeah.
These would point straight out.
These definitely point straight out. I had to
Yeah.
train them.
Did you?
Old
Huh.
stash. Yeah.
How often do you have to wash that beast?
Oh, I wash it every day.
Daily.
I oil it every day.
Like, does lunch get all up in there? And like at
Mhm.
dinner,
Wings.
you're still
Wings are the
smelling
worst.
lunch?
I don't know.
Do you
This
drink
always
milk? Do you
smells
drink a
kind
lot
of
of milk?
woodsy. It's kind of nice. It must be the
Probably your
oil,
shampoo.
but
Must be your cologne.
yeah. Maybe I'm born with it.
No, maybe it's Maybelline.
Or beard oil.
Man,
Can we
Beline.
talk about your? I was trying to get a better pun on Maybelline. I'm out. I got
Maybelline,
nothing.
dude.
You won.
Maybelline wins.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yep.
I bow. All right. So yeah, thanks again for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
guys.
being-
Yeah.
Thanks for being a partner too.
Guys, if you
guys-
haven't checked, I just cut you off. Go.
Well, thank you. No, just want to say thanks to you and your entire staff for being so awesome and a great partner for us. And
Yeah, for sure.
course.
Yeah.
We actually owe you guys a lot just because you helped us propel,
Look where we are
perpetuate.
now.
Look where we are. All this is because of you.
It's
indirectly.
so warm in here, too.
Yeah.
One day we'll have
You've
heat.
helped us.
One
Yeah, one
day.
day we'll have climate control, but for now we don't
You
have
couldn't
it.
breath made
tell.
it warmer in here.
I'm glad
Yeah,
you
it
couldn't
did.
see our
I'm
breath
not kidding.
actually right now because
it's close.
I'm
It's
very
close.
surprised because it's kind of cold in
But
here.
folks, if you
Anyways.
have not been to Divine Barrel Brewery, Brewing
Brewing,
here in
actually.
Charlotte,
Got it right.
behind DJ Ty, across from Sherwin-Williams, diagonal from Bold Missy. They're not one of the ones that closed, were they?
No.
Okay, good. Just making sure I'm
still
giving people-
open.
I'm giving people points of reference. Please check out Divine Barrel. Amazing guys, amazing beer. Great things happening there in 2018 and 2019 and all the years
And
in the future.
2030.
And 20
and
million.
2064.
Yeah.
So when Gavin's children's children own it.
Yeah.
And Ben's children's children and Scott's children's children.
Actually, I'm the only one that wants to have kids.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at that.
Yeah.
Your kids are going to take over.
Your kids are
Yeah,
gonna
they're going to take over.
single-handedly own it. Well, good times. Folks, if you have not already subscribed, which we know you haven't because per the numbers on YouTube, we have 8 subscribers.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just killing it, man.
We're looking for number 9. It could be you. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us at Villain Coffee Co. Follow these guys at Divine Barrel Brewing, Divine Barrel CLT, not the other one. And there's not another one. And that's it for now. So Katie, Christopher, Gavin, we always do a weird peace out thing. There it is. Peace out.
Bye.